Dear journalists, guests, online viewers, welcome to the press conference. We are very delighted to welcome the Prime Minister of Croatia here in Tallinn, in Estonia. The Prime Minister Kaja Kallas and Prime Minister of Croatia Andrej Plenković just concluded their bilateral meeting and will deliver short remarks. After that, it is possible for media to ask questions. The press conference is held in English with simultaneous translation into Estonian. First, Prime Minister Kaja Kallas, please.
Ja esimesena on sõna peaminister Kaja Kallasele. Kallis Andrej, mul on suur au tervitada teid siin Tallinnas. Me olime Euroopa Parlamendis head sõbrad ja juba siis tegelesime Ukraina teemadega. Suhted Eesti ja Horvaatia vahel on väga head ning me arutasime kohtumisel viise, kuidas neid suhteid veelgi süvendada. Olemasoleva koostöö suurepäraseks näiteks on piiriülane digiretsept ja me näeme ka uute tehnoloogiate, innovatsiooni ja digitaliseerimise vallas täiendavaid koostöövõimalusi. Ma kuulsin, et teil oli väga hea kohtumine ka meie e-valitsumise keskusega, nii et kui me saame midagi üheskoos teha, siis me teeme seda suure hea meelega. Meie riigid on lähedased liitlased NATOs ja partnerid Euroopa Liidus ja veel kord õnnitlen Horvaatiat.
Within the Schengen area coming here. So let me now turn to the security matters. Already in 2014, we worked with Ukraine in the European Parliament as you were the president of the Ukrainian delegation and I was the vice president of the Ukrainian delegation to the European Union, and we were working with the association agreement. We have come a long way since then, but also in 2014, Russia attacked Crimea, and actually we had similar discussions back then. So now the war in Ukraine is far from over, and Russia's strategic aims haven't changed to erase Ukraine and also rewrite the European security architecture. We need to ramp up both our practical and political support to Ukraine to help ensure victory on Ukraine's terms. Military assistance to Ukraine must be further strengthened. It is positive to see that a number of countries are looking to take aid to the next level. Here, I once again repeat my call to our allies and partners. Look into your stockpile and warehouses and reserves and send arms to Ukraine. This is the way to peace. We must also continue raising the price of aggression for Russia. The key is to maximize sanctions on Russian energy. Contrary to some fears, we have seen that the oil price cap has not led to a sudden and large price spike on the world market. Today, the price of oil has decreased. When we reviewed the price cap as agreed in December, we must continue lowering it to dry up Russia's ability to wage a war. We must also keep momentum in finding a way to use frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine. Our interest is that the EU would find joint solutions as soon as possible. Estonia has been actively pushing this in the EU, and I've also asked my government to look into which possibilities Estonian legislation would offer in this regard. Holding criminals accountable is also critically important. As repeatedly discussed with the European leaders, we must find a way to move forward with the establishment of a special court for the crime of aggression against Ukraine. As NATO allies, we are like-minded in many issues. Croatia's contribution to the collective defense on the eastern flank is much appreciated. Croatian soldiers are part of EFP battle group in Poland. We must also support Ukrainian path towards NATO membership based on commitments made in Bucharest in 2008 and Madrid in 2022. Ukraine's full post-war Euro-Atlantic integration is fundamental for its future and essential for European security. And let me finish by pointing out that we also discussed the developments of Western Balkans. Closer NATO-EU cooperation has been beneficial for the region. It is important to keep it up. The EU Western Balkans Summit in Tirana was a strategic success, sending a clear message that the EU is here and the EU is open as much as needed. Thank you.
Please.
Thank you very much. Dear Prime Minister, dear Kaja, first of all, a big thank you for receiving me today here in Tallinn and also the entire delegation as a token of our friendship, which you have just evoked because we were together members of the European Parliament, elected some time ago, and we're working together as the members of the delegation for Ukraine. So the most important topic which is on the global agenda today is a topic that we were dealing jointly and were familiar with even in the crisis of 2013 and 2014. But let me first turn on to the main issue, and that is the bilateral relations. Today we have discussed the overall context of the relations between Estonia and Croatia. Estonia, which recognized us on the 31st of December, back in 1991, being one of the first countries that has recognized Croatia internationally, and we appreciate that, is a friendly country that shares the same values as Croatia, a country that has advanced in its path in the last 3 decades, being a member of NATO, being a member of the European Union, and a country that has strongly supported our path, which came a couple of years after yours, and especially recently in the course of 2022, with strong backing of Croatia to attain the deeper EU integrations by becoming a member of the Eurozone and the Schengen area, and for that I would like to thank you personally. Also, we discussed our economic relations, aware that there is really an ample space of improving the trade between the two countries, improving the cooperation in various areas, whether it is a classical trade, whether it's the cooperation in defense industries, whether it's the cooperation in the digital area. And from that point of view, I'm very pleased that we have seen the increase of the Estonian tourists in Croatia in this season and last year, and they will certainly, with the experience of our country, be the bridges that will also bring fruit to the economic relations and exchange. We also discussed the context of the ramifications of Russia's aggression against Ukraine, both from a security point of view, but also the implications on the work of us as prime ministers, because all of the governments across Europe were facing, as Kaja has just said, the energy crisis, the food crisis, the inflationary pressures. And I think that the measures that have been implemented here in Estonia and what we have done in Croatia have managed to alleviate the pressure from our citizens and our businesses. My country and my government, we heavily subsidized our citizens, our economic operators, by limiting and regulating the prices of electricity, of gas, of oil derivatives, and thus trying to take care that we go through the autumn and winter of 22-23 with the least negative consequences possible. Also, what is important is that we found a European solution for limiting the prices of gas, and we have seen immediately the fall of the prices of gas at various stocks or facilities across Europe. And this gives us an optimistic signal for the economic recovery, for the stabilization of the economic and financial situation in Europe in 2023, despite the announcements of global slowing of the economy, which will certainly be seen on the numbers of growth. Croatia estimates its growth in 2022 around 6%, with the inflation just above 10%, which is a little bit more than the inflation of the average in Eurozone. Regarding Ukraine, just as Estonia has done, we have immediately extended our political support, our solidarity with the Ukrainian people, with Ukrainian leadership, and also hosted Ukrainian refugees in Croatia, just as you have done here, and also given the extensive military assistance to Ukraine, which we continue to do in order for them to sustain the aggression and the invasion of Russia on their country. In that respect, we fully agree on various mechanisms at the international level, whether it is the 9 packages of sanctions that were adopted within the European Union, in order to send a strong political, economic and financial signal that the aggression and invasion are unacceptable. It's a clear violation of international law. And also with other mechanisms that can bring the perpetrators of the aggression and the war crimes to justice. And from that point of view, we very much salute the political and diplomatic initiatives coming from Estonia at the international level. We use this opportunity also to discuss the situation in the region of Southeast Europe, a topic that has been frequently on the agenda of the European summits, especially in the last couple of years. And I have shared our analysis of the countries in the Balkans, where when we look at the structured institutional relationship of our neighboring countries towards the EU, some of them are on track with negotiations, some are just starting. Bosnia and Herzegovina has been granted a candidate status, which we find a very positive aspect for the European path, reforms and the stability of our neighboring country. And also we witnessed the application for the EU membership by Kosovo. I was literally impressed by the visit that just before our meeting we paid to your e-center, having been acquainted with the advances that Estonia has done in the digital innovation, in the digital field of public services, of businesses, of having devised the concept that has culturally changed, that the Estonians lived in a sense of literally all the services accessible in digital manner. I really congratulate you on this effort, and you have been perceived and also seen as one of the champions, not only at the European level, but globally. We are following suit of what you are doing. We have made serious advances with our own digitalization process, and we shall be pleased to deepen our cooperation in that respect and also be inspired by some of the solutions that have facilitated the daily life for your citizens and have clearly cut the costs of your economic operators by having digitalized literally all the services that are necessary for your citizens and businesses. We shall be working together in the months to come. I know there are elections soon. I wish you good luck at the elections that will be held at the end of February and the beginning of March. And I look forward to continue really both a friendly relationship that you and I have, and also excellent relations and good cooperation between Estonia and Croatia. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's possible for media to ask questions. Please use microphone and state your name, media outlet you're representing, and to whom the question is addressed to. Please.
Hi, Tarmo Maiberg from Public Broadcasting. First, the question to Croatian Prime Minister. Could you give us an update of arms delivery to Ukraine? I know your parliament decided not to participate EU training mission, so what else can you give to Ukraine? I don't know if you can comment also on tanks issue that is also in Europe. Have you made any steps to use Russian frozen assets, if you have any, and also Russian influence in Balkans? When I spoke with Mr. Markic in the fall last year, he said that Russia has not raised the level of activity, but what concerns Croatia is constant tension in Balkans. So has Russia activated his anti-Western rhetorics in the region, and has Serbia backed down its Serbski mir rhetorics also? And to our Prime Minister, could you give us an update how the frozen assets issue is going on in Estonia? Thank you.
Thank you very much. When it comes to the participation of Croatia at the EU military assistance mission, the EUMAM, you are right. Unfortunately, there was no political agreement in the Croatian parliament in order to execute the political decision of my government, which for your listeners and for your viewers, Croatian parliament is composed of 151 members. Our majority is 77. we needed the 2/3 majorities to get the decision passed. So we needed another 24 votes by the opposition members of the parliament. What we attained at the vote was 97. So myself and my partners in the coalition, we wanted to participate, both sending our officers in the hierarchy of the command of this mission, sending our officers to train in Poland or Germany, or receiving up to 100 Ukrainian soldiers in Croatia. This would have been, I have to say it openly, really a symbolic gesture of our participation and belonging to what the European Union is doing for Ukraine anyway, given how much we supported already militarily Ukraine at a number of decisions of our government in the course of last 10 months, and we shall continue to do so. We do not publicize what we provide to Ukrainians, but it is a substantial military aid in line with what Ukrainians expect from the allies and partners, and we shall continue to do so. So I am really sorry that some of the Croatian MPs failed to be making the right historic choices on the situation where it was a simple choice between good and bad, and thus put Croatia into a situation not to be able to participate in the EU MAM. When it comes to the Russian influence in the region, it is present in the region of the Western Balkans, and your interlocutor, who is a very well-informed person in the Croatian scene, has adequately suggested that there is the parallel between the Ruski Mir and Srpski Svet, but we are very much aware of all the challenges, and nonetheless we are trying to normalize as much as we can the relationship between Croatia and Serbia and improve our cooperation. We recently had a visit of 3 ministers of Serbian government during the Orthodox Christmas last week, where I attended, and for the information of your public, the members of the Serbian minority in Croatia are part of our coalition for already 7th year, and we have an excellent cooperation with Serbs living in Croatia and all the other minorities. So despite the tough historical legacy, we are improving our relations and limiting the external influence that could have negative consequences in our economy and our political life.
Yes. Regarding the frozen assets, on the 9th of March already last year, I made the proposal that it is, Russia should pay for the crimes and also the damage that they cause in Ukraine, and we should find ways to use those frozen assets. We have been pushing or nudging European Commission to find common solutions. And so far they are working on this, but it is difficult. So last year in 2022, in December, I gave an assignment to our foreign ministry together with our Ministry of Justice to find a solution in the Estonian legal framework, so that we could be an example how to do this, how to find this solution. And currently they are working on this, and this means that they have to come back to the cabinet within a month, so that they come with the proposal how to do it, that there are different alternatives, and then we can discuss more, because we are all rule of law countries, and these solutions have to be in accordance with the laws and regulations that we have agreed, but also international law. And because we have unprecedented times, we also need unprecedented solutions, and we are working on those. Thank you.
Next one, please.
Tamara Markovic, Horvaatia raadio ja televisioon. Mul on küsimus mõlemale peaministrile. Kõigepealt proua Kallasele. Hiljaaegu Eesti sõlmis lepingu HIMARS rakettidele, siis süsteemidele, siis kuidas Eesti tugevdab julgeolekut, vaatamata sellele, et tegemist on NATO liitlasega, ja härra Plenkovitšile küsimus, te ütlesite, et sõjakuritegude eest tuleks võtta vastutusele, kuidas Horvaatia saab sellesse panustada? Me oleme teinud investeeringuid oma julgeolekusse ja me investeerisime juba üle 2% SKT-st julgeolekusse ja kaitsesse enne sõja algust ja kui sõda algas tegelikult juba varem, jaanuaris, me suurendasime kaitsekulutusi veelgi enam ja nüüd hakkame liikuma 3% juurde SKT-st. Me tugevdame ka õhukaitset ja ostame laskemoona, kõike, mida on vajalik ja koos NATO liitlastega ja Andrej tippkohtumiselt tuli otsus idaserva tugevdada ja liikuda kaitsepositsiooni, kaitseolekusse ja nüüd me ehitamegi üles divisjoni suuruseid sõjaväerühmasid, kuhu kuuluvad meie sõjaväelased, aga ka liitlaste sõjaväelased Ühendkuningriigist, USA-st, Prantsusmaalt. Ja kõige olulisem on käsuliin ja kuidas asjad toimiksid. Me teeme ühiseid harjutusi, õppusi ja valmistame ette selle divisjoni juhtimisstruktuuri. Täiendavalt NATO loodetavasti saab tervitada Rootsit ja Soomet NATOs, mis märkimisväärselt meie piirkonna julgeoleku tugevdab, sellepärast et Läänemeres saab NATO merepiirkond, nimelt julgustame Türgit ja Ungarit kiiresti otsuseid langetama ja edasi liikuma, et me saaksime heaks kiita Soome ja Rootsi NATOga liitumise. Mis puudutab Horvaatia kogemust seoses sõjakuritegudega ja andmete kogumisega ning tõendite kogumisega ja siis sõjakuritegevuse eest vastutusele võtmisega, siis 90. aastate esimeses pooles, pea 30 aastat tagasi oli meil sellega kahjuks palju kogemusi ja see tähendab seda, et prokuratuuri ja Ukraina ametivõimude vahel on juba koostöö sisse seatud. Me oleme ka eraldi koostöömemorandumi juba mitu aastat tagasi sõlminud Ukrainaga selleks, et täiendada oma teadmisi. Ja on olnud ka mitmeid teisi koostöökihte, sõjaveteranide toetus, rehabilitatsioon, andmete kogumine seoses sõjakuritegudega ja kõik see, mida me saame teha prokuratuuri kohtunike seisukohast ja ka politsei erijõudude seisukohas, kes sõjakuritegusid uurisid. Meie Ukraina partnerid saavad neid teadmisi kasutada ja me kindlasti soovime laiendada seda koostööd maksimaalselt. Koostöös siis ka teiste riikidega ja seda tööd tehakse siis rahvusvaheliselt. Kahjuks rohkem aega ei ole. Tänan kõigile, kes osalesid. Käesolevaga lõpetame pressikonverentsi. Head pärastlõunat!